Putin has already pledged his support for more cooperation with Shell, commenting that he is comfortable with future deals, including a multi-billion-dollar deal to explore the Arctic with Russia's Rosneft. Now, Shell is already heavily invested into Russia with a stake in the huge Sakhalin 2 project in the Russian Far East, the world's biggest oil exploration project. Shell owns a 27% stake in this venture. Shell also has an ongoing partnership with Gazprom Neft in an oil field in Siberia and has been extracting oil in western Siberia for about 15 years or so now. And the Dutch giant has plenty of petrol stations in Russia, with over 100, and plans to develop even more. And as far as energy internationals are concerned, Russia is not short of international quarters because of the vast untapped reserves. The UK's BP is the most exposed to Russia of all the oil super majors, with nearly a fifth of Rosneft shares. And BP CEO Bob Dudley has been eager to point out that Ukraine tensions have not affected investments. Italy's Eni and Norway's Statoil have both signed deals with Rosneft to tap into the Russian Arctic, and French major Total owns a fifth of the huge project in the north of Russia too. And despite the US being the most vocal about enforcing sanctions against Russia, the biggest US oil company, ExxonMobil, has the largest geographical presence, which stretches right across the country and has done so for about 20 years or so now. But today, it's Royal Dutch Shell in focus, demonstrating that these global energy contracts are not being halted by international politics.
So, Shell's CEO, Ben van Beurden, went on to say just how proud he is of his company's work in Russia and his partnership with Moscow. But he did say it wouldn't be easy and that Shell would need strong support to make it all happen. Let's now get more perspective on the announcement and its timing with international oil expert Mamdouh Salameh, who advises the World Bank on matters of energy. Mr. Mamdouh Salameh, welcome to RT. What do you make of the timing? Or maybe this is just a pure coincidence?
Well, the cooperation between Russia and Shell and other international oil companies is essential for Russia's building up new reserves of oil and gas and remaining the top producer of oil and gas in the world. Shell has vested interest, like ExxonMobil, in Russia's Arctic areas, and Russia has already started producing oil from the Russian Arctic in Priraz-Lomna in the Bashora Sea. So Russia is already ahead of its rivals in the Arctic, and they are producing oil, and the Russian President Putin believes that the Arctic could offset any decline in oil production from Siberia. So it is important for Russia, and it's important for Shell, ExxonMobil and other international oil companies, and of course I am sure they will be subject to some pressure if any sanctions are imposed on Russia, but I doubt that they will succumb to that because of their vested interest in Russia.
So you think that Shell is acting in good sense here, putting its money into Russia with all those sanctions hanging over Moscow? Well,
there is a pressure. If the sanctions are imposed on Russia, I hope they will not be, and there is peaceful solution of the crisis in the Ukraine. Of course, Shell and other American companies like ExxonMobil will come under pressure. The hope is that first, sanctions will not be imposed, and second, that pressure could be off the back of Shell and other international oil companies for the benefit not only of Russia but also the global oil market and the price of oil.
It could be argued that BP found the going tough in Russia. Why do you think Shell are so sure that business will thrive here?
Shell has a lot of experience in Arctic exploration, particularly in Alaska. And of course, their expertise and their investment in Russian oil fields could be of great importance to Russia and to themselves. So Shell, like BP, like ExxonMobil and other oil companies are looking for places to explore for oil and to build up their reserves, which have been depleting very fast. Russia is a very promising place, and the Arctic is the most promising place according to the United States Geology Agency. They estimate that there are more than 160 billion barrels of oil that could be recovered from the Arctic, and that amounts to 13% of what could be found globally.
All right, Dr. Mamdouh Salameh, international oil expert and energy consultant to the World Bank. Mr. Salameh, thank you very much indeed. We appreciate it.